Hey y'all, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm making deer steak and gravy. What you will need is a crock pot, vegetable oil, all-purpose flour, garlic salt, smoked paprika, a mixing bowl, pepper, frying pan, and I'm using deer steak, but your alternative meats you can use pork loin, boneless pork chop, or regular steaks. My husband already cut the deer steak up for me. He cut them about 3 or 4 inches. And they're not thick at all, so if you decide to use pork loin or boneless pork chops or regular steak, you want to cut them up about the same size as these. You don't want them too thick either. I got my mixing bowl out and I'm going to use my all-purpose flour. I used about half the bag. Then I'm going to take my garlic salt and I'm just going to sprinkle some around. And I really don't measure it. I just sit there and I just sprinkle a good bit in there. Next, I'm going to use pepper. And it does look like I used a lot, but you got to keep in mind that I used a half a bag of flour. Last but not least, this is smoked paprika. This is going to give it a smoky, a pinch of spicy, and a little hint of sweetness to the taste. Alright guys, I already got my oil in my frying pan. I just turn it on medium, so whenever I mix everything up with my flour, I could just flour my meat and start frying it. I like to be old-fashioned. I like to mix all my flour and ingredients in a mixing bowl. Some people like to use a bag, like a Ziploc bag, to put their batter in and just shake it all up at one time. But to me, I just want to do it one at a time. I want to make sure that the batter is on there really good. While this is browning, what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my crock pot because I'm going to have to use some of the flour to put on the bottom of it. So next you'll cover the bottom of the crock pot with flour. Not a thick coat, a thin layer. Now that it's frying pretty good, you do not want to fry all the way. You just want to get your meat brown like that. Just a little brown on both sides. You want to go ahead and turn all your meat. Now, when both sides are brown, you want to go ahead and take it out of the frying pan and put it in your crock pot. As soon as I put the meat in the crock pot, the meat that I have battered up, I put straight in the frying pan because the grease is good and ready. Now that all the deer meat is all browned up, what I'm going to do next is whatever flour is left over, or I'll just take a little handful, maybe a cupful, and I'll just put it right on top of the meat that's in the crock pot. Then the grease that I used, what I'm going to do is I'm going to dump it right on top of it. Now this is what's going to help make the gravy. The next step would be you taking water and filling it all the way to the top of your meat. Don't go overboard, just the top of your meat. Should look like this. Put your top on and set it on high for about 8 to 10 hours. After 8 to 10 hours, your deer steak and gravy will be perfect. Your deer steak should just fall off the fork, it will be so tender. Now I like my deer steak and gravy over mashed potatoes with some biscuits or cornbread, either which one is great. But if you don't like mashed potatoes, you can pour it over rice. Heck, you can even sit there and pour it over your biscuits or your cornbread. I hope y'all enjoyed watching this video, and if y'all have any questions, leave them down in the comments section. Alright y'all, I had so much fun making this video, and I really appreciate y'all watching. I will see y'all in the next video. Bye y'all.